guys did that. That was so rude. Y'all waited like an hour. I was on the phone for 2 hours and had everybody on mute, man, for 2 hours. I was like, for 2 hours. So I didn't get to finish, but I'm almost finished. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna bear with me, or are you gonna be here with me, or are you gonna leave? What are you gonna do? Yes. I was on the phone and I didn't expect. She said 1 second, 1 minute, one quick minute. I said yeah. Ended up 2 hours on the phone for mute. She said you got 1 second free time. I said yeah. As we were talking, it's been 2 hours. I was like, I know everybody. I was sitting there like telling everybody one moment, one moment. 2 hours went by. I was like, so yeah. I was like, this is crazy. But and the result, look, we got a fight coming. I'm about to fight somebody now. That's what it result. That whole 2 hours, no matter how calm it was on the set, it resulted. Now we about to fight. I got an upcoming fight. I'm about to fight somebody now for real. I'm about to now. It's about to fight. It's supposed to be tomorrow. I'm supposed to be fighting somebody tomorrow. That's crazy. Some guy, man, just jumped in the conversation. We talking, and he tried to get in the conversation, try to check me off of the conversation. He jumped in the conversation, tried to tell me something, and what made me that wasn't even what happened. So imagine when yelling at you, and that ain't even what happened. So he's yelling at something that ain't even there. I'm like, what? So I'm mad now. You know what I'm saying? Cause you obviously just wanted to do it. If it didn't make you do it, usually people go off the fact like what, because you said something, but he's going off something that didn't even happen. So you lied. You're lying. Like you're lying to yourself and your emotion. You can lie to your emotion and trigger it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and then he called me a punk a word. Oh, you punk ass. And that would really. I said what? I ain't never said nothing to you like or called you no names. What's up now? Now it's like, okay, yeah, you punk ass nigga. He said you punk ass, or he said you punk ass, or you punk ass nigga, something. So I'm like, okay, nigga, you punk ass, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you, like, come on, bro. That's what make me mad. He's like, it wasn't even that serious. And now it's like, you feel me? But so, anyways. But you okay? I love you. I hope you alright. Oh, she texted me too, so hold on, let me hold on real quick. I am so thirsty, I don't know what to do. I like it real slow. Making love to his cold. Up and down we go. But what was I supposed to get? What did I say? Okay, no, I don't remember. Okay. Oh, the phone. Phone. I just gotta let you know, girl, up and down. In and out I go. Up and down we go. Up and down we go. Okay. why she's not playing. Fuck, that's what bitch like. I got to. I gotta take it. That's what I learned. You good? Okay, I'm glad you good. I'm glad you good. Okay, so Fave, I'm about to get started. Well, not get started. I want to finish. And I'm only gonna do one chapter. And you guys, this is crazy. I may just save it. I don't know. I'm not sure. It feels like I just want to save it. But okay. All right. So we're gonna keep going. Declare the interpretation for the Spirit of the Holy God. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong. For thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. Oh my God. And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, Hew the tree down, and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation. O king, hold on. There was a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. And they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness. Hold on. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the houses of the kingdom, by the might of my power, and for the honor of my majesty? While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O king Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee. And they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. See, now here's the key to this. You gotta understand the tree. Till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. And that's because the image of Babylon, you guys gotta get, is an eagle. Babylon's image is the eagle. So I want you guys to remember the eagle. America, her image is the eagle. So they're both, God is trying to let you know who Babylon is. America is Babylon. Do you know how many, do you know how many, there's African music, reggae music. Babylon, America, oh Babylon. They call America Babylon. Well, that's because it really is. America is Babylon. And their image is the eagle. So always remember, God knew to put the eagle because he knew people would know what the eagle meant. Only one person has the eagle. That's America. Okay. And his nails like bird's claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand, or say unto him, What doest thou? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah. So and you know what's so crazy about that? Only Daniel would know this. You know what I mean? So the oh my Lord have mercy. So if the king, I'm gonna put it like this. If they had slaves, right? And God appointed him to treat the slaves right, but somewhere along the line, evil came in and slaves started to be treated bad. So the Babylonians got a bad name. People started hating them because of how violent they treated the slaves, right? So now, as the king of these people who already have a bad name, when he himself built the kingdom to be of a good reputation, and now they have a bad reputation. It's like how we would look for the white man to be nice. But even though the white man would be mean, we could picture someone nice as him in front of him, even though he's being mean. And we would do things for him. We'd love him. We'd be, oh, if the white man was nice, I'd be, the best slave I can be. Because he would deserve it, right? Basically what God is trying to tell Nebuchadnezzar is, in the art of supposed to be beautiful, but something negative happens, but it makes the people pray and wish for this blessing to occur out of that situation, and the people would subject to that blessing and obey that blessing if it came, because it was so wonderful. King Nebuchadnezzar was that wonderful blessing himself. So that no matter what Babylon did, no matter what the earth, no matter how bad it got, he would always be faithful to God, and God would always bless him to have a good name as the people he created and built represented. I don't want to say created, but as the people he led, guided, and inspired to be able to tell the truth and do good things, be wise amongst the world and the people, feed the people, be a good help to the people. He himself was that prayer, that request, that last hope and resort for something nice and something good and something beautiful, something peaceful to be there. That's what King Nebuchadnezzar represented. That's what God was trying to show him through Daniel that he was. Basically, in the world of this hideousness going around, King Nebuchadnezzar was that beauty, was that perfection of handsome, was that label of righteousness, that focus of peace, and that gorgeousness that everyone at their last breath would wish something nice would come. He would represent that something nice. He would be that something nice himself. So that's how beautiful King Nebuchadnezzar was. But it's in a world where all these people hate who they are. So for the world to hate them because they looked like something, but they never acted like it, God was letting him know he was it. And there's nothing no one could do to keep him from being that. He would always be it. And that means if evil came, if the devil came, if there was a war that came and the people had to act evil and act ugly and act negative toward the world and be unfair, God would still bless him to be right. God would still bless him to get his point across and do what he was supposed to do. God would still enable him to have love and tell the truth and be fair amongst everyone. And hold no bad boundaries and hold no evil, hold no iniquity, hold no negativity. He'd always be a good person he was supposed to be. So that's what I love about that. But it comes at the time where he was the most vulnerable. He felt he was going to get punished, or he felt he could die for his decisions. Because remember, he just put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. What king would harm someone's life? So the reason those thoughts of the evil that came about, because he just did it himself. Which now not jeopardized it, but if you see 7 times over, Mother Mary Magdalena had 7 demons inside of her. That 7 could represent 7 unholy spirits. And until those 7 unholy spirits passed, he would not be able to remain. So I think that's where the negative image and people hating him, people wanting, all these bad things to happen to his country came about, because those 7 unholy spirits, which result to his own name, they're attached to him. So it shows the Babylonian being possessed by the devil, which causes the influence to do things. So the Babylonian suffers because their good namesake is on the line, is on the balance, and they have no execution to get it out, because the action itself, the act itself, the cause itself was shown to be done by them. Which in manufacture, that actually wasn't as accurate as it may be portrayed. If Mother Mary had 7 demons inside of her, I'm pretty sure her light was trying to be condemned so that her true beauty didn't come out. And for people to hate her versus bow and worship and praise her, that was the objective to get. So I'm pretty sure that was the cause. That was the effect. You know what I mean? So that's how that took place. That doesn't sound pretty good. That doesn't sound pretty good to me. So, but yeah, so that's actually pretty deep. Actually, I actually love that. I actually love that, and the fact that God had blessed them by basically what Babylon represented as a whole. The world looked for it. And God's commandment was exactly those conditions. There's poor people, there's homeless people, there's widows, there's children with no fathers, but they would throw them away and not care about them. God strictly says, take care of these people. You know what I mean? Not take care of the rich, not take care of the people that got stuff, not take people to people that want to own 20 businesses when they already got 15. The people that don't have nothing. So that addressed that the world, which is so used to just being stepped on, passed by, just used for nothing, someone reached their hand out to care. There was a change. There was a reflection in the earth that sought to bring righteousness to a desolate place that didn't have no peace. King Nebuchadnezzar represents that change in the world, you guys, because the world is subdued by Babylon. The world is subdued and subject and has to answer to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar, being the king of Babylon, changes the world's views, because if the world sees, oh, and that's another thing too, Babylon is leading the world astray. So if God puts her in power to say, do this, do that, do this, do that for me, and she doesn't, and instead she makes the world listen to her, not God. The power of Babylon as the influence of the world, whatever Babylon chooses to do and whatever Babylon direction chooses to go, that's where the world's going to go, in her favor. So if she treats people bad, the world got treated bad. If she treats people good, the world got treated good. So the fact that he's the king of this place, his influence is, okay, the world's like, man, no one takes care of us. She uses us. She basically doesn't, she doesn't care. He's now in the position to change the world, because the world is already being lied to by this country that has the power to do what it wants to do. And if he takes control of that place, God is telling him how to fix all these bad things in the world. So now the world looks for him, because it wasn't meant to be like that. So he frees all these people with the right way to go when they don't know what's right, because they're so used to what's wrong. That's beautiful. That he gets that honor, and he gets that because it's at a time where the world has to listen to Babylon. They don't know God. They don't know the scripture. They don't know how to be saved. So the fact that God uses him, which is very important, I want people to really honor that, because God chooses Israel and the Hebrews to teach. The fact that the Babylonian got his place, it shows God's heart and creativity, that Babylon actually had a portion at the table, because he's combining the nations and giving them their reflection of report of their dominion. And the Babylonians, if you see, because they conquered Israel, their dominion is to help, is to lead, is to subject certain things. That's very wise, I would say. God is very wise, you guys. And who's best to have initiated this kind of decree on the world other than the person who subdued it in the first place? So it'd be real down. But then you see Daniel. Daniel represents the slaves. King Nebuchadnezzar represents who slaved them. It's like a win-win. It's like a win-win. Okay, hold on. Ooh, I'm hungry. Yeah, it's like a win-win. But since Daniel leads God's other side, because Daniel's not the ruler of a nation just yet, physically. He has Judah. But Judah's not a country, it's a city. that has control over the world, but it's still not a country. So the fact that Babylon still has the dominion as the overall like regency, yeah, it still defines the fact that the rulership was towards King Nebuchadnezzar. But for God to have influenced him to be that ruler, let me see. And here's the beautiful part of it. He is the tree. So we're doing all this talking about the country and all these requirements and all these things when he's the tree, not Babylon. And I think I understand why. And even think about the tree getting hewn down, tore down. We think as an individual human being that was Nebuchadnezzar, since he represents the tree, and the tree was a human being, was a man. So you automatically reflect to the iniquity of man, the bad of men, the sin of men that can cause it to be hewn down. What you don't understand is, what was he? The king of Babylon. That could still, since he's the king of Babylon, it's his body, it's his rulership, it's his palace. That could represent the palace being torn down. And as the promise of God, knowing he's going to destroy Babylon in Revelations, that's his kingdom. So how could God bless the king of the place he's going to destroy without blessing the king and the place for his kingdom? So even in that sense, that could represent the king of Babylon, the kingdom of Babylon, the regency of Babylon. Yes, the regents of Babylon could actually be that prophecy. And since it was chopped down, it could represent King Nebuchadnezzar. Because remember, King Nebuchadnezzar just tried to kill Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What was godly about it? Or it could represent those 7 times over he was possessed as every other Babylonian to display an image. And what it really represents, something happening. Not that he didn't, not that he shunned through it, not that he walked through it. King of Babylon, which the king of Israel is only king. So it defines having to do the act. No running from it, nothing. The act happened. How would you honor the king? See, the kingdom is already set with David to do the act. Nebuchadnezzar being prophesied, where his whole people are slaying the Hebrews, killing the Hebrews, raping them, lynching them, burning them, hanging them on trees. How could you forgive someone that did that to you? See, the art of David was one individual spread out through the kingdom to decide, choose, and worship. Now that the act is in front of everyone to have witnessed it, would you still hate the king of Babylon, knowing it was from him the whole time as well? So that becomes the new king, the king of Babylon. So as you see his prophecy of how the heights reach heaven, King David was born prophesied to ascend to heaven. He was delighted, sprouted, and raised by heaven. The fact Nebuchadnezzar just reached it shows the capability. He was not the first to do so. But in open involvement, he reached it, which is very important because now you can worship King Nebuchadnezzar wholly, and full-heartedly. But it represents the war. Right now, a white man, no one likes the white man because of his background and history. What if that white man was possessed and he couldn't make those decisions himself? So that represents King Nebuchadnezzar, because that represents, think of David. It's just the iniquity was the action. It wasn't caused by some specific. But without needing Satan to be mentioned, wouldn't that result to Satan? So it automatically transpires a different form. Now, if David had something negative like Saul had something negative inside of him, how would the perception be of your rightful king in front of you gaining that kind of honor in a world where you wouldn't choose or think twice to pick him again? So that becomes the David effect with the Saul spirit. But David had to take that same evil to see what he would do. So that becomes the King Nebuchadnezzar effect. And if you notice, like I said, doing the act becomes the key. Not shunning away from it. Actually doing it. So I knew that. And how difficult it would be to subject to the king of Babylon. So it's really right there in front of you guys. We just didn't see it. As you see, Babylon plays a play and Nebuchadnezzar plays the even bigger play. Because he survived while Babylon was destroyed. But God wouldn't destroy the kingdom of the king and leave the king. So you can automatically assume the Babylon kingdom, since he's the king of it, would reside as well, if the prophecy was to him. And think, if God spared King Nebuchadnezzar but destroyed Babylon, Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar had nothing to do with it, which gives access to the open way. That's the whole point of what Daniel's looking at, because Daniel, by faith, would refuse to worship Nebuchadnezzar's God for these reasons. So now it opens up a reason why Daniel feared to worship. That same fear Abraham feared in Egypt. There was no fear of God in the land. So it automatically gives and prescribes that route in reasoning when it's not really like that. It doesn't really behave and go like that. That's not the point in play. That isn't what is needed and wanted. You know what I mean? Like, it's more deeper than that. So that's how I see it. Yeah, very beautiful. That's what I love. And you gotta experience the hatred for King Nebuchadnezzar, because he's opening the door of righteousness. You gotta understand, no one wants righteousness to be out. Everyone thinks violence and raping and warfare is the way. That's not the way of life. Would he be subject himself? If this was a fight, would fighting him be the way to victory? So for someone that already threw the first punch, would his opponent have to fight him? So if that's already interpretation, translation, dream, he wouldn't have to fight him. Think about that. Who would war if the actual opponent attacking you didn't have to be fought to get off of you? No one would think like that. Nor would the word be based. And now think of it. What is the word? It's not subject to that. You know what I mean? So in no case, in no form, no presentation would it be subject that you had to do anything to do something to someone else. You'd be able to be free peacefully and walk and do your thing. But it didn't need it. Now let's counter at war. You call it attack or not attack, because he's not attacking. Yeah, there would be no fear of it. So the Babylonian, now this is Nebuchadnezzar. He wouldn't have had to subject Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nor, in the further prophecies, would Daniel be in the lion's den. So that automatically compels the hand versus the freedom of the happiness of being a part of the war. See, the war is because they're trying to attack him to do it. If he refused to do it, he'd already subject them to be out while protecting himself to be in. But because of the fear of being in, people reside as a form of doing bad things to be out to gain the protection. Because, like right now, there's a bad person. And because he's going to use this bad, it'll pump fear in people to be protected from the same only thing that's out presenting it to you in the first place. So you would be tricked. And you would fear the right way because of what the bad proclaims it's done to the right way. But the right way wouldn't have fought. It wouldn't have had to do anything to the bad. So which puts the good out on the bad is already the only one attacking. So the bad, because it attacked, put it on the good to make the good feel like it was lost or forsaken by what refuses to go bad. Henceforth being possessed, blasphemed, hypocrited, only to get that name out that doesn't exist. That's not fair. That's not righteousness. That's not the truth. That's what God is trying to get everybody to see. The real, honest way. Which King Nebuchadnezzar does have. See, even though Daniel punished, it could also represent Daniel's interpretation himself. King Nebuchadnezzar having God, but all these things start to happen as if God's not with them because God's with Daniel. But if Daniel himself could have blessed King Nebuchadnezzar to be that himself, God was with him. It was just through Daniel did King Nebuchadnezzar get his Belshazzar, not through Belshazzar himself, because he was worshiping Belshazzar. So that puts it even deeper revelation, because if his God was Daniel, the prophecy is God being here while he's being here. Because the king of Babylon just praised his God to be Belshazzar, who he just so happened to name Daniel. But if you check, Amaru is America's God, and yet there's no Amaru because it represented evil. So that would be the subject to why Belshazzar was so important, because Belshazzar would have light if it's Amaru. And the key is Belshazzar. Belshazzar is the reason the kingdom would fall down. So staying away from Belshazzar becomes the light. Okay, I love you guys. I'm about to go. Subject, I have to go. I just want to thank God. This was a wonderful night. Speaking of Belshazzar, he's up next with chapter 5. Most likely going to be Wednesday before I come back for church. Wednesday is when I want to come back. But if I can't do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday should be okay. So I thank all you guys. I love you. May God bless. And yeah, just have a wonderful night. I'm sorry I can't end with a song. I do want one song. Sorry I can't end with a song, but I just want you guys to have a good night. And I love you. And sweet dreams. God bless. Thank you, Favy. Daniel chapter 4. And we're out. 5 hours and 36 seconds.